Welcome to another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Wally. And today I'm so excited to have on a 32-year-old from Cardiff, Wales, a staple and legend with the Mandy Flyers. His cycling journey has taken him to Wales, England, Scotland, Germany, Belgium, Italy, Switzerland, the Netherlands, India, Australia, Austria, Croatia, China, Denmark, Luxembourg, Norway, Spain, Oman, Poland, Qatar, the USA, Canada, United Arab Emirates, Portugal, and he is the third Welshman to compete in the Tour de France, won the Madison National Track Championship at least 3 times, 2012, won his first pro championship after joining Team Sky, winning the opening stage of the Tour of Britain, made his Grand Tour debut in 2013 in the Vuelta a España, and he is still running amok with Team Ineos Grenadiers. And fun fact, he is also a big fan of the Shed's second favorite team, the Cardiff Devils. Welcome to the Shed, Luke Rowe.
Wow, that was impressive, man.
Well, you
got a bit of the. You pretty much nailed that, eh? You've done your research.
Well, the research team got hot, and I was just going to say, really challenging myself as a research team and podcaster today. You know, we're getting into a new sport.
Yeah, pushing the boundaries. Thanks for having me.
Hey, thanks for coming on, man. I guess I get into how we know each other. We've never spoke before, right? So
no,
nice to meet you.
I've only ever seen you on the ice.
So you were watching when I was there. I saw the picture of you on the ice for your poster. Was that with Deeds? Was he the guy on the ice with you?
Yeah, that was way back. That was me and one of my cycling buddies went for a game, and he was actually, this was 2012, and he was just became Olympic champion off on the track cycling. This other guy, not me.
An Olympic champion, like he won a gold medal.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
and he was at a Devils game, a gold medal.
Yeah, that was the guy it was me, Deeds, and another guy. So he was the big dog. So we had to present an award. So I kind of got pulled in as a bit of a scapegoat. I guess they were running short of people. So presenting the award. I think he was man of the match, Deeds.
Wow, he's a Shed guy. He's been on twice now, and he sent me quite the video. I haven't posted it yet. I'm a little busy, but he got in a scrap.
I listened to this one.
He got in a scrap just during warm-ups last week. Just fighting like crazy during warm-ups.
Oh God.
And you sent a picture of you with a Luke Piggott jersey, eh? Big Pigsy fan then? Episode 1?
Yeah, Pigsy's one of the. I don't know so many of the guys. I speak to a couple of the guys, and Pigsy was one of them. So he started cycling so a little while back. Well, when I say cycling, he'd ride down the Penarth front there, and
I don't.
So I sorted him out a load of cycling
cyclist.
Kit. Yeah, like full lycra wanker. So I gave him some cycling kit, and he gave me a load of Devils hockey swag. So
people helping people. Nice.
That's it. You scratch my back, I'll scratch yours.
So you were. So how often do you see games then? Because looking at when the research team got hot, man, you got a busy life and you were all over the world.
Yeah, when you started running through them countries there, it kind of hits home. Now, honestly, less and less. This like my calendar is so busy, but it's a case of if I'm at home in Cardiff and there's a game on, I'm there. Like the second I say I'm home for a week, I look at the calendar, the fixtures like a month ahead, and I'm like, Saturday, I'm going to the game. That's the priority of the week. But less and less. There was times where I'd go, every weekend pretty much. But less and less. But I watch pretty much all the games on the what's it called, on a live stream or whatever.
So did you watch the Challenge Cup final? Because what a mess. I had my whole team. Well, we had a 3-on-3 during March break here. So they wore my 2 Ales and Hockey Tales jerseys, and we went in a tournament. The boys played awesome. And then we raced back here to watch the Challenge Cup. And then they had like new rules that you can only stream it in the UK. Did you get it?
I did get it.
How? What'd you do? I had the IT team come over and even get me this VPN that says I was in the UK, and it still wouldn't freaking connect, man. I was losing my mind.
That's what I did. VPN. I was in France, so I managed to watch the whole game.
Shut your filthy mouth.
Yeah. So you missed the whole game. You had nothing.
I had everybody over. I had hot dogs to cook on my Cardiff Devils fire pit thing, and
Big fail.
I had the whole team over. Well, the boys still had a blast. They played manhunt. They played UK football. They played North American football. They had a great day, but
Yeah.
didn't go according to plan. But you know
Oh,
what was weird to me? Obviously, I'm following the score. I literally tried for 2 hours. Like I tried from well before the game had started. It was the end of the second period when I finally gave up, and I'm like, it's not going to work. My IT guy came over. It's not going to work. When I decided to give up trying to make it work, it was 2-0 Devils.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry, guys. If it was on me for giving up trying to get it to work, I'm sorry. But I know you're playing with 4D.
Trying, we'd have won 2-0.
And I think it's on me. And I felt bad because right after I stopped, I gave up that like it wasn't going to work was when things changed. And I'm sorry.
Oh,
guys.
it was a hell of a game. But
it sounded like it.
There was a point after, I think it was after like 45 minutes. So like 15 minutes to go in the third. And like there was a stop in play, it zoomed out and it showed the two benches. And one thing I noticed, all the Belfast players were stood up. And then it looked at the Devils bench, and like half the Devils bench was sat down. And obviously we were short bench with 4D. And then I thought, then it hit home, when you've seen one bench stood up and one bench sat down, like nothing against.
Well, and when you're playing with 4D and when you're playing with 4D and the other team's coming, and then it's tough, man. I mean, from what I heard, it sounded like they battled their ass off and played a great final game, but shout out to Belfast for winning. Way to go, you punks, right?
Yeah, exactly. They played good. And with, like you say, with them 4D, I mean, Batchy and Lewis were fucking weapons. They were brilliant. It was
and the horse register.
Yeah,
Richie, like that, they got a hell of a decor. Even with 4 guys, man, I'd put my money on those 4 any day. But so I got a new idea. I just let the wife know my new idea. So we're raising money for Max and Maloney, who's fighting cancer right now, in Cardiff, right in the UK, and we're raffling off this jersey that I'm wearing right now, that the kids just wore in their tournament. So it is actually a game worn jersey now, folks. But that ends tomorrow. And then we'll send the jersey whoever wins it, and send the money to Maxon so he can decorate his room. But then after that, I'm going to get my whole under 11 team to sign a jersey, and I'm going to start saving money to bring the Waltons to Cardiff, right?
You're coming again.
I think I'll pay for this trip by raffling off jerseys.
But this jersey, you said that you're auctioning, raffle tickets, you said.
Yeah, so it's on my website, aleshockeytales.com, folks. I have a website from talking to people in my shed. Thanks, Sean Collins in the UK for doing that for me. So there's raffle tickets on my website, aleshockeytales.com. So right now we've sold 165 tickets for Max and Maloney at £2 a piece. So he's going to get to decorate the shit out of his room.
I'll get in on the action.
Please do. Everybody, please do. We're trying to give Maxon a shed boost because he's got a lot of battling to do to get out of there. So we're trying to raise his spirits and show him how much everybody cares around the world. So buy some tickets, folks. aleshockeytales.com.
How old is this guy?
Like 8.
Oh, yeah, sad story.
9,
Let's get
10.
behind it.
Yeah,
I like it.
And his uncle was the first person to ever pay me money to drink beers with my friends. So they are shed family, even if they're on the other side of the ocean, right?
Yeah, one big world. Good on you.
Yeah. Well, and you've been around the world. We should get into this. Okay. What else do we got? You also sent pictures from a Bruins game where you met Chara and Marchand. So you go to hockey games elsewhere other than just Cardiff?
Yeah, so it was my 30th birthday present off the good wife. We went to New York and we seen 2 games. So there was Rangers, Bruins. Bruins is my team.
Did you say you're married?
Yeah, wife and 2 kids.
How the hell do you travel? I was wondering about this. I thought every cyclist must be single the way you guys travel.
No, I mean, I'm away a lot. I'm away 200 days a year. So maybe that's why I'm still married.
Eh?
I don't know.
Jeez,
maybe that's why I'm married.
Yeah, well, I guess like that's your normal life, right? In the cycling world is you got to travel.
Well, it's the way it's always been. Like I met my missus when I was 17, so it's the way it's always been. But I mean, I'm 32. I'm not going to do this so much longer. So all good things got to come to an end, right?
Yeah, I guess. What is the, like, how old can cyclists be? Like, how old can you go? How long do you thinking?
I reckon 35, 36 tops. And it get, to be honest,
And you're signed on till 2023, the research team found.
Your research team's on fire, eh?
Aren't they?
Yeah, I got 2 more years on this. I signed a 4-year deal, so I'm halfway through that. 2 more years, and then probably do another 1 or 2 after that, and then hang it up.
Hang it up. So, I mean, when one thing's been your thing your whole life, like it was for me with hockey, transitioning out of that shit's hard, man. So do you got what are you thinking of doing then next? Any ideas, or you just figure that out later?
Well, get a Cardiff Devils season ticket, first things first.
There you go.
Priorities. Take the little fella down there. But I mean, there's options. The obvious one is stay in the sport, but it's a tough bubble to live in. And I think if I stay,
you'd still be traveling, right? Because like that's
Exactly.
like for me thinking about becoming a hockey coach. Then you still got to travel all over, live on the road. Then as a coach in hockey, you get fired any day.
Well, probably the reason I'd stop is to be at home or be around the wife, be around the kids.
So that's hard to stay in cycling.
So then if you stay in cycling, you're contradicting yourself. So it's a tough one. I think I'm just trying to stick my head in the sand, and when it happens, I'll pull my head out the sand and see what's there.
Speaking of it being one small big world, is Geraint Govier at the Gower Riders Cycling Club in Swansea want to say hi.
Hey, what's happening?
Yeah, they want to say hi.
The Gower, down the Gower.
The Gower?
You'll know the Gower, down by Ogmore. You must have been to the beach down in Ogmore.
No, man. I went to Swansea to like a zoo or an aquarium or something.
God, you lived in Cardiff for all these years and you never went to the Gower.
I don't even know what you're talking about.
It's a beautiful beach. Next time you come,
when I've seen pictures of Wales, like I didn't see any of that shit. I was too busy in school and with kids.
I mean,
playing hockey.
The water's a bit brown and it's probably 8 degrees, but apart from that, it's beautiful.
No, there's some wonderful places over there that I never really did get to travel while I was over there. So, hey, when I start after Maxon's raffle and I do another raffle and then we start raising money for the Walton's family trip to Wales, then maybe we go see all this stuff, right?
Yeah, head to the Gower.
But yeah, no, it's interesting. When I started this is like how many people that like reach out and that I get to chat with now. And like, I would have never heard of the Swansea Cycling Club, the Gower, you know?
To be honest, I haven't heard of Swansea Cycling Club, the Gower, but I just know
Gower Riders Cycling Club in Swansea. You've never heard of that?
Okay. No, never heard of that club, but I'll take your word for it.
Well, there you go. I know more about cycling than you then. Okay. So anyways, moving on. Where and what are you doing now?
So I'm on the eve of a pretty big race, actually. I'm racing tomorrow. And it is
boy. And you made time for the shed?
Yeah, priorities, man. It is the longest one-day cycle race on the calendar tomorrow. And it's called Milan San Remo.
So
and you race from Milan. I'm in Milan. I race from Milan to San Remo, which is down on the coast of Italy. So it's actually 299 kilometers.
You're going to bike 299 kilometers more?
Yeah. And there's 8K neutral zone at the start. So it's just over 300K. So that's what I got to look forward to tomorrow. Longest professional race there is. It'd be about 7 hours.
Jesus, Murphy. Yeah. So 7 hours. So, okay. What time of day does that start at?
So we start, basically all the races try and finish between 4 and 5. And that's purely because TV time. That's the time of day they try and finish. So I think we start 9:30, 10, something like that. And then finish at 5.
Oh my God, that sounds exhausting.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
So you think that's fun, biking that far?
No. That's
you're getting paid. That's why you do it.
You got to pay the bills, man. It's
That's like when they bag skate in hockey. You're like, God, I just want to play the games and have fun.
yeah, it's love hate, right? Some like with my sport, with I'm sure with hockey as well, there's parts of the job that weeks you love and you couldn't think of doing anything else. And then of course there's days you wake up and you think, I don't want to ride my bike, I don't want to go play hockey, I don't want to skate. And you got to take the highs with the lows, don't you?
Okay. I know maybe I'm a little bit different than most people. I got different questions. Okay. When I got hurt my knee and I got fat in Germany, they made me ride the bike in the sauna for 90 minutes a day to get skinnier because I was that fat.
I heard this story on one of your pods. Yeah.
Okay. So when you ride a bike as much as you do, between your balls and your butthole has to hurt, because mine hurt that whole year. I believe it's called the gooch.
The gooch. My gooch.
Yours must be like steel.
Mate, my gooch is like leather.
Yeah, like, you've worked that thing, eh?
Yeah, if you think I sit on my gooch every day for 4 or 5 hours,
you're gonna be on your gooch for 300 kilometers tomorrow.
Yeah, not a problem, mate. My gooch is like
is leather. That right?
Yeah, absolute weapon.
Mine was so sensitive. Holy moly! I'd be putting baby powder on her and everything. Yeah, I wasn't a cyclist, and then they tried to make me one, and my gooch was not prepared.
Mate, that's the biggest thing when people first get into cycling. That's the first thing they say. It's like
balls and butthole, right in between, right in the sweet spot.
Yeah, I mean, they say this is supposed to like be a workout, and my legs are supposed to be fucked. Okay, I can deal with that, but
yeah,
my gooch, I got an ass like a Japanese flag here, like.
Oh, it hurts. I remember that was every day, and then I'd get to the rink. And they'd be like, get in the sauna, bike's in there. There's only room for the bike in there. And man,
walking like John Wayne, eh?
Oh, bringing back bad memories there. Okay, so you're in Milan. That's cool. And you're going to go down the coast of Italy. So that's a pretty nice area.
Yeah, it's a beautiful race. Obviously Milan is inland.
But it's like when you're driving, you don't get to see shit. You're biking.
You don't take anything in. You see the pictures and you go, wow, that looks, after the race or picture or the video footage, and you say, wow, that looks beautiful, the scenery, but you don't see anything. You're focused.
You're looking at the ass in front of you, right?
Yeah, exactly. You're going 40, 50K an hour. There's crashes. It's pretty chaotic. So you don't take anything in.
No, I agree. And I remember driving through the mountains of Switzerland one road trip while we were over there, and the wife got to look at everything, and she's like, look at this, look at that. I'm like, well, the road is winding and curving, and we're in the mountains, and I have to drive.
Yeah, there's not many straight roads around there, is there either?
No, and you've seen the world, man. I'm quite jealous. I've only my shed's seen that many countries. I haven't. Cool stuff. Okay, so then one thing I'm curious about is in bicycling, geez. All I really know is I read Lance Armstrong's book way back when he was like giving out the yellow bracelets and all that crap. And he talked about the peloton and how like guys like protected him from the wind and all that shit. So is tomorrow just you on your own and you're giving her, or are you guys working as a team?
So I'll break it down. My team, Ineos Grenadiers, we're 31 riders, and in any race, you put a squad of 7 riders in, apart from the 3 Grand Tours. So you name one. There's 3 Grand Tours a year: Vuelta a España, Tour de France, and Giro d'Italia. In them, you have 8. But let's just say every other race of the season is 7 guys, and within that 7-man squad, you'll have 1 or 2 leaders, and the rest are what's known as a domestique, which is the French translation is simply helper. And for me,
there's only 2 guys that are
yeah, you'll have 1 or 2 leaders. So tomorrow,
and then 5 are the blockers.
We'll have 5 domestiques, 5 helpers, of which I'm one. And 99 races out of 100, that's me. I'm a domestique. I'm not you start out the start of your career thinking, right, I want to be a winner, I want to win this, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And then certainly for me, I realized I'm not good enough to be a winner. Like I simply wasn't good enough. But
That's like when I went to Germany. I was like, I'm not good enough to make the NHL. I better go.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it's a bit similar. You have to take a step back and say,
but is it up to the coach that they put you in whatever role? And it's like whatever the coach thinks of you, or is it how fast you bike? Like, how would you know unless the other people are blocking for you?
Well, at the start of your career, you might have the odd opportunity, and you either take it and you win the race, or you don't and you fall behind. And I think over time, I realized I'm not going to stay professional in the top tier of cycling for 10, 15 years without winning a race. So I said, right, I'll try and be the best domestique I can, best helper,
best role player in hockey.
Yeah, and try and be a guy that
be a great teammate, a guy that not the domestique guy, but the other guy is saying, I want Rowe with me tomorrow,
mate,
right?
Spot on. It's actually one thing I said to myself way back is like, if there's a leader, a captain, and he's the best in the world, I would like to think that he says, I want Luke there. Yeah. That's what I tried to build myself into. And I've done a decent enough job at it, but the level's so high and there's guys coming up and young guys and
there's, it's just like pro hockey, right? There's always the kids coming up, biting at your heels. You're like, get away.
Yeah, punks. I mean, professional sport, pretty much any sport, it's dog eat dog. You're only as good as your last race or your last couple of weeks or your last game, or it's tough.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I guess it's being a good teammate in the cycling world is probably like the hockey world, but might be even smaller, right? Like, I don't know how many pro cyclers are there in the world, would you think?
In the top, so there's top like kind of division. So the top level,
the NHL,
the Pro Tour, I guess so. There's 18 teams, of which each team has 30 riders. Gotcha. So get your IT team to do the maths, and then there's different levels below that, but it quickly falls off a cliff. There's not much depth, and in them lower leagues, it's a bit of a dogfight. Guys not getting paid, and guys getting fucked around, and it's quickly falls off a cliff. But in the top level, 18 teams of 30.
Okay. And you've been doing that since 2012, right? The top level. It's a long time, eh? So you've been doing her for a decade. Top level.
Same team the whole time as well.
Really? Then you know what? A lot of guys that come to the shed were on the same team a lot of their pro hockey careers, and like they all be like get their jerseys retired and blah blah blah. And it's because they're good teammates. They're good dudes, right? They're not like me that got shipped around. It's my bad body. Didn't help though. Okay, I got a new question then. What's it like being a cyclist for diet wise? What are you going to eat to then bike that long tomorrow? And when are you eating it? Are you getting up tomorrow morning and just crushing a big breakfast, or what do you do?
So before a big race like tomorrow, it would be quite simple. Big breakfast, big lunch, big dinner. And tomorrow morning, we try and eat 3 hours before we race. So it'll be get up at 6:30, and it'll be, pasta for breakfast, which is not really what you want to be eating at 6 o'clock, but it's like putting petrol in a car, right? You got to do it.
So you're doing pasta with like a red sauce, chicken, or what?
That's such an American Canadian thing, isn't it? Like pasta with white or red sauce.
That was like hockey buffets all over North America. You show up at the restaurant and they got the red or white sauce with the tray of noodles, and then
brilliant. We got pasta. Yeah, we got at the bigger races we have a chef, so he kind of gives us the option. So we'll have, I don't know, pasta with some.
You're getting fancy, aren't you?
Yeah, we're lucky. Yeah. But it's not at every race. A lot of races, you can, if you go like race in the north of France, you're going to have some nasty pasta that's been boiled for 2 hours, and there's not much glitz and glam in this sport, I tell you. It's it might sound nice when I say something like a team chef, but honestly, there's not much glitz and glam. It's just
one of my questions, I know it's on the notes, but I'm not going to look at them because is what's it like for a team dynamic in cycling? Because you guys don't like have a locker room like hockey where all 20 guys went out and battled together, and then you sit down and like if you won, some people might get naked and dance. You might crack a beer open, whatever it is. But like in cycling, if only 7 of 30 even played the game, and then like you cross the finish line and you're all trying to help the one guy. Like, do you guys get after it after? Like, if you guys do well tomorrow, are you going to get after it? Like you won something?
Great question. And it's such a strange dynamic because like you say, I can be on the start line. Okay, I raced last week with 7 guys, and a week later or 5 days later, I'm racing again
with different
and I'm
guys.
the only one
from the last race.
The last 7 to be this 7. And also what you got to think of is, of the 30 guys, we got 7 or 8 Brits, and then we've got so many different nationalities. We got Colombian, Ecuadorian, Spanish, Italians, German, like such a mixed bag. And they're so different in what they do. There's language barriers. It's so different. So,
and everybody where they come from changes like their personality, who they are, what kind of teammate they are, like how they're raised, what, you know?
Exactly. One race to the next race can just be a complete different bunch of guys and a complete different dynamic. And you got to dial in as soon as you get there. You got to make that group. You got to be tight. But so tomorrow is a massive race, and we've won it once before, and we went full gas. We went out to a restaurant, started getting on the sauce there, and then we went out to a nightclub, and it was full biscuit. But
can cyclers handle their alcohol? You guys all seem very skinny.
I'm probably one of the more heavyweights in the team. I'm gonna put my hand up.
Yeah, you're Welsh.
And I'm not a massive drinker. Yeah. But some of them will have like 3 beers and be sideways.
Right. Why do you think I got along so well with everybody at Wales, right?
There is a big drinking culture in there.
Love it. They love it.
Yeah, great.
Man, you only get to live once. You may as well have some fun while you're doing it, right?
Amen. Knowing you were in Cardiff, okay, so you never went to the Gower, but did you ever experience a proper rugby international day?
The World Cup was there when I was there, but I never got to go in the arena and see a game. I just saw a bunch of the Devils went to a game like last weekend. I never got to go do that. I did get to enjoy downtown a little bit during the World Cup and see what was there. It's pretty cool when everybody gets together and is in a great mood.
But even if you don't go to the game, just to be in the city on the beers,
that's what a city.
In Cardiff. I love it. A full match day is incredible. The whole city's buzzing, eh?
Yeah. I even like that's 6 Nations, right? Every bar is just packed with everybody having a time. Great.
I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. I know it's the coolest city I've ever lived in was when I had been places there weren't much to do. And then you show up in Cardiff and they have that fair down in the bay, like the first week I'm there. And I'm like, geez, there's a lot to do in this city.
How many years were you in Cardiff? Was it 3?
Just 2. The one I played and then the one I got injured and acted like a fool.
Yeah. What can you do, eh? If you're injured, you're injured.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Yeah. You got to help the team any way you can, but you got an injury, eh? You were probably all sauced up on stag party in Prague. Did I hear? Research team was hot.
Yeah, something like that. Do you know?
Let's hear the story. I want to know about it.
Oh, it's not as exciting as you think. And the problem is, as soon as you say stag do an injury,
people think you're all banged up. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 and 2 together. You were off your tree and you've done something stupid, so we went out the night. We went out full gas, got in early hours, woke up the next morning, and the first activity of the day was whitewater rafting. So we go whitewater rafting, a few beers on the way, but nothing crazy. And it's as simple as, it was my mistake, but it was kind of a weird accident. Long story short, jumped into water, thought it was deeper than it was, and it was not very deep. And I broke my leg in 25, 30 places. It was just in pieces. And actually, I'm led in this hospital bed in Prague, and it was like just shit hospital. And I'm thinking, oh God, what's going to happen here with my career, with my boss, with my contract? And actually, this is the one thing that I'll never forget with our GM,
the guy in charge. Yeah.
Dave Brailsford. And he called me and he said, all right, Luke, how are you? I said, yeah, good. You know, and I'm shitting myself, because if it's a cycling injury, if I did this in a race or training on my bike, it's one thing. If you do it on a stag do, don't know how it's going to go. And he said, listen, Luke, I'm not even going to ask how you broke your leg. I don't care. You're one of us. We're with you all the way, and we'll look after you.
What a great guy.
You know, just put my whole mind at ease, and like, I'll forever be grateful for that, because I'm in the hospital bed thinking everything's going through your head, you know?
Oh yeah.
And wow. He said, we'll get you the best of the best. The rehab, we're gonna nail it, and they did. So
well, good on them. What it reminds me of was when I hurt my knee in Cardiff, and I go through 6 weeks of rehab and whatever after the surgery, and like that was when I was supposed to be back. And then I go see the doctor to do some tests, and there's like a thing that gives out every time in my knee. There's like a spot that there's like a gap, and they're like, you're done, like you can't ever play again. And then you're like, holy shit, like, is Cardiff going to make me go home? Like they want the apartment probably for the guy going to take my spot. And Todd Kelman said, no, you're one of us. You're going to stay here, and you can, you know, we'll find something for you to do, which got weird, but yeah, good people, you know, sticks with you.
I think credit where credit's due. I think it's easy to, like when you're at your top of your game the year before, you know, you're playing amazing. The year before I was racing well, whatever. And it's easy to think, you know, this is a great team, great organization looking after me. But it's not until you get a bit of adversity
or you're at the bottom and they still stick with you, right?
Then you realize what a good, you know, what a real good team is, you know?
I totally agree, and good on them for doing that. So being injured sucks, man. So the hardest days of my life was when I was injured and I wasn't really part of the team. I was doing my rehab, and it takes forever. You're there all day, you're by yourself, and you're never around the guys. And obviously everybody knows what I feel about being around the guys and being part of the team. Those were the darkest days of my life, really. So what was it like for you trying to come back?
I'd say the same. I think it kind of, at the start I said, you know what, I'm not going to watch the races, because it's just putting salt in the wound. I'm not going to watch. And then sure enough, I cracked. And just the biggest thing I missed was just being on the road with the guys on the bus. And I realized it actually wasn't so much the racing itself. It wasn't being on the start line. It was just being in the environment.
You're hitting me right in the heart. That's exact. Yeah, it's exact. Do you think I miss playing hockey?
Yeah,
I miss the guys. Now I found a way to talk to them and meet new ones.
Yeah. And it was like you realize how much of a laugh and how much camaraderie there is, and when you get a bunch of guys together, and you know, win, lose or draw, if you're successful or not. Just that kind of
well, it's the same when you'll ever be done with cycling, right? It's like, how many times do you get on a bus with 20 dudes that are all hockey guys, or like we all have something in common, and we're all similar dudes, and like you get to hang out with them all the way to the game. You get to hang out with them at the arena. You get to play two-touch with them. You get to play hockey with them, and then you get to bus back. Like, you don't get to have fun like that in the real world.
So I got a question for you. So you said to me, you know, if you win a race, will you celebrate? So what about when you were playing for Cardiff? So you win a game?
I'm a little different than most, I'd say, but I would say pretty much after every weekend, right? Like, you worked hard, you gave her your all. I would like to, you know, whether we won, whether we lost, I'd be having drinks with my teammates and discussing what went on, or just having a time.
Yeah. But it was only, you wouldn't go out the night before a game.
No. Well, I'd test myself once or twice a year.
Yeah.
You got to test yourself every once in a while.
Yeah. It's a fine balance.
But like, so all that stuff that you missed, like now I'm coaching kids, right? The under 11s, and we start our semifinals of All Ontario tomorrow night. So can't wait, fellas. We got 4 games in 4 days and a best of 5. So it's all going to happen very fast in the next few days. And I can't wait to watch you play, fellas. And I got it all back now, right? Like I got that part back. When I get to see those kids having as much fun as they do, and they're a team and they love each other and they'll do anything for each other, I'm like, that is my team, you know?
So what's your involvement with the team? You run it head to toe?
Well, the wife's the manager. She does the scheduling, and then we're co-coaches, me and another fella. But yeah, like we do practice plans together, and then I'll run the forwards and he does the D during the games.
Wow, that's great, isn't it? Good on you.
It's so fun, man. I love it. Really. Yeah. It brought back, I have a real passion for it. And like seeing these kids, like at the start of this season, I wouldn't consider a lot of them hockey guys, but you ask their parents now, they're hockey guys.
Yeah, they're probably on like the crisp, maybe not in America or Canada, but they're probably on the cusp of like having a couple of beers after the game in a few years' time. They're a few years away, but they're almost there, aren't they?
Wow. Right now they're into root beers. They like to crush a root beer together. Okay. As you're a skinny fella in the bicycling world, you're from Cardiff though. I know you've been to Chippy Lane. What are you getting? Salads and shit?
Chippy Alley.
Chippy Alley. That's what you call it. It can be a bit of an alley at late night. There's a mess down there sometimes.
Yeah. Depends what time you're there. It can be.
You eat there, or are you too skinny for that alley?
No. I eat there. I think my approach is like on a night out, I'm either on or I'm off. So if I go out,
you're all out.
I'm doing it properly. Otherwise, I don't go out because I kind of haven't got an off switch.
Right.
So if I'm out, I am all in.
Push the envelope.
Pubs, then hit the clubs, then Chippy Alley, chips, cheese, gravy, big dirty kebab, head to Dorothy's.
Yeah. Talk dirty to me, Luke. We just met each other.
Yeah. Loads of salt, vinegar.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I know that it's quite the city, right? Like everybody goes out and then everybody goes there to end their night. And it is a great way to finish a night out. Yeah.
You can have chips. You can have a kebab. You can.
So you mix it up, eh? I would be getting a kebab every time. That's just me. I love it.
Yeah. I'm pretty partial to a kebab. But that's what I mean. Like everything.
Do you not think the UK kebabs are not, you've traveled the world. Let's talk about kebabs. UK's kebab game ain't high end.
Do you not think?
I think Germany is way better.
Well, I think the first thing you got to think about with kebabs is never to have because there's 2 types, isn't there?
There's the chicken or the lamb, right?
Yeah, don't get the lamb. The lamb.
Stop it.
No, you stop it. You got to go the chicken.
What sauce are you putting on your chicken?
Oh, you've paused.
Oh, you're back. Come on, stick with us. What?
Spicy chicken, spicy, all the trimmings. If they know when they say, what do you want? You say everything.
You're saying fill her up.
Fill her up, big boy.
Well, in Germany, this one place by the Bietigheim Arena, they would roll out the dough fresh, put it in a pizza oven. So the dough is literally just made right in front of you. And you start getting those emotions. You start seeing it and you're like, oh my God, look at the love and care he's putting into my wrap. And then they put it in the pizza oven and it comes out warm and they wrap it all up with fresh vegetables and the lamb meat. And then they'd even put in fresh cut French fries in there. Chips, as they'd say, into the kebab, in the fresh wrap. And now I am getting hot and bothered again. Gosh, why do I talk about this all the time?
Yeah, you win that one.
Anyways, yeah, sorry, but there's kebabs in the world that can change your life, right?
You're getting hot sweats thinking about these kebabs, aren't you?
Well, let's keep talking about food while we're on the topic. Then you've lived all over the world. Where's your favorite country for food? Because you know how everybody's from different places. Everywhere in the world's got different food. So where's your favorite?
For me, it's easy. Italy all day long.
Pasta, yeah. Well, you're eating pasta for breakfast. You got issues, right?
Oh, it's great. Like even today, we just did a little ride today just to spin the legs. Found a cafe in the middle of nowhere. It looked a bit average. Walked in, great cappuccino, great croissant. Just if they do it, they do it properly.
Right.
Oh,
if you're gonna do something, do it right.
Yeah, I lived in Italy for 2 years when I was amateur. Brilliant. And in Tuscany, they do this steak Fiorentina, and it is just like on the bone, massive steak. They do it on the open fire. Brilliant.
Really?
Yeah, so good.
Jeepers, I'm getting hungry talking about this. Yeah, no, Italy is great though. Like the food, I was always curious, right? Because you grow up in Canada, USA, and you hear Italian that's gonna be spaghetti and meatballs, and then you get to Italy and there ain't no meatballs.
No,
it's just bolognese, where it's just a meat sauce.
But
there's no meatballs, folks. Don't get confused over here.
They don't like food. Isn't just food. Like we call in Italy. Spaghetti bolognese. It sounds nice, doesn't it?
It sure does.
In the UK, you say spag bol. Like, how lazy are we? Can I have some spag bol as opposed to spaghetti bolognese?
And then I enjoy the culture in Europe, where Germany they did it too. Italy, I believe they do, is like you're not allowed to be open from, I think it's 1 till 3 or something. Like you're shut down. It's lunchtime. Go have a time. We're not working for a couple hours. Take a break, folks.
They always have a glass of wine with their lunch. Always. It's like the same in France. It's almost a law.
They're just living. They're enjoying the day.
Yeah, we're doing it wrong.
And well, I'm not. I find that food and my shed bring people together. I love cooking food because I find it brings people together when you can make a really good meal. And talking to people in my shed seems to be doing the same thing. I just want everybody to have fun, And I like having fun, and this is fun.
Can I ask a bit more about your shed? So I mean, I can see a bit, but
beautiful.
Is it literally a shed down the end of your garden? It looks great.
It is great. I built this, and basically it's funny because it's the same way this works. The podcast was all done by friends. The concrete, Ripley Wolves, Devin Kemp, he did the concrete. And then I paid one guy to build the shell of the place. And then my neighbor Kent finished it all up for me on the inside. I had 2 guys come over and do all the electrical work for me. Everybody did it just for a few beers and a steak pie,
And this in the background is all the people you've interviewed.
Those are all the posters. I don't even have them all on there yet, but you'll be up there once I get, there's like 20 per poster on there. Yeah. We're going to fill the whole shed. I ain't stopping.
On fire, eh?
Yeah. So anyways, no, this is like my home away from home, but it's at home in the backyard. Yeah. You get to come out here and be yourself, right? Like I don't have to be dad. I can be me out here, it's fun.
Nice. Good on you.
Mm-hmm. Anyways, Kay, how'd you get into cycling? It's a family sport. I got your brother and sister-in-law raced professionally. And then is your old man a coach for a Paralympian?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Research team is good, eh?
Yeah, you studied, fair play. Pretty much always been in the family. My grandparents cycled. My parents cycled. Me and my brother naturally took to it. And it was never like I played football, played rugby, done a lot of cross country running. I always did kind of loads of sports.
Skate?
And it was terribly. I'm like Bambi on ice.
Yeah, there's a lot of bad skaters in Wales. I've seen them at the public skating. It's a mess.
Yeah, I'm one of them.
Okay.
I can skate in a straight line, but I can't stop. I'm one of them who comes to the boards and does this.
Oh yeah. And you don't know what to do without your penguin.
I'm not quite on the penguin level, but I'm not far off. It's actually in my
Are you
contract.
renting skates if you skate? Are you renting those terrible skates, or do you have your own?
Yeah, I'm a renting penguin man.
Yeah.
But it's actually in my contract. I'm not allowed to ski,
stag parties, whitewater raft,
ski or skate. So, I mean, when I stop, I definitely want to skate.
And I always wanted to be a skier, and I had teams that there's teams in Europe that embrace that they're in a ski town and they tell the players they get free skiing all year. And then there's other places that tell you you're not allowed,
Yeah. Skiing. Yeah. That's another
skiing's
big
a
one.
fun time, isn't it?
but it's the whole package with skiing, right? It's like,
I think it's
Aperol.
more fun than like playing a hockey game, getting slashed, body checked, or cycling for 300 kilometers, right?
Yeah. Skiing's on the bucket list. I've been once before, but
That's it, eh?
go again. Well,
I guess you
first
can't
time
do
we
it,
went-
right? Once you, it was like I used to like dirt biking, and then I remember like when I'm in minor hockey, like the coach was like, you're kind of good at hockey. You really should stop dirt
Yeah.
biking. And then I did.
First time we went skiing as a family when we were kids. I was probably 10. Get there, first day, went skiing. It was all right. Went to the bar, went to the pub in the evening. My mum had a few too many. Walked out of the pub. She walked in deep snow. Her leg like sunk in the snow, fell over, broke her leg. Day one on the holiday. So we haven't been since.
Right. No.
No.
Injuries suck.
Right.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know where we got into that, but yeah, you guys are just a cycling family, kind of like a hockey family, right? Hockey players breed. Yeah. So you like, when does it like, so you guys started racing at what age? What age are you racing bicycles?
Oh man. Pretty much my whole life since I was 8.
Yeah.
Since I was 8. But it was never, when you're a kid, it was kind of, you'd go away to a race on the Sunday, you'd leave on the Saturday, you'd rent a minibus, and there'd be like 20 kids on the minibus. You go up, you stay overnight, you race, you don't care about the race. It's just more about
having fun with your friends
on the bus, on the way up and the way back. And whilst you're there, you do a race, it was never, so I say I've been doing it my whole life, but the first 10 years was just something to do on the weekend, a social thing.
Have you ever gotten into a fight in the cycling world?
Yeah, a couple.
Teammates or opposition?
Never a teammate. For sure, there's been times with teammates.
Yeah, like hockey players would fight in practice, like things sometimes happen and you're like, hey, mother effer, like, why'd you do that? And then he's like, hey, why'd you do that? And then all of a sudden you get upset for a bit. Then you're okay.
Yeah, I get that with hockey. You see it in, videos of teammates fighting the odd time
it's usually not the first place team doing it.
No, but I think that's one thing that a lot of people who don't follow cycling closely, you can never see it from TV how. So say you have to be in the front for a certain point. The road is only wide enough for 5 or 7 people, depending on the width of the road, and there's 200 people. So you're all fighting to be in that position. So it's a shit fight within the peloton, and there's quite a lot of arguments and stuff. And
so you guys are chirping each other while you're cycling, while you're going 50K or 50, however fast you're going on a bike. You guys are all chirping each other out there.
Yeah.
Do you ever give a guy one in the ribs or like you?
Well, yeah, I've had it done to me.
Because your shoes are like locked in, right? You can't be kicking, right?
No kicking. But and now you have to be careful because there's cameras everywhere. There's even like one rider from each team has a GoPro on the front of their bike. It's part of like this to get some good footage or whatever. So there's cameras everywhere, so you can't really do so much. But one of the lowest moments in my career actually come from not really a fight, but like a disagreement with a guy, and I actually got disqualified from the Tour de France one year, which was made the headlines for all the wrong reasons, and that was a bit of a ding dong with another fella. So that was kind of a low point in my career. I can look back tongue in cheek and laugh about it now, but it was that was a pretty shit moment, and that was because I was arguing with another fella, German guy.
Yeah, well, so when you're in a competition and you're doing your best and you're trying to win, people get in the way. You can get upset, right?
Dog eat dog.
Yeah, get the F out of my way, right?
Well, you were saying about like domestique and helper. So he was a domestique, with his leader behind him, and I was a domestique with my leader behind me, and I'm trying to do a good job for my guy.
Yeah,
he's trying to do a good job for his guy.
Yeah,
and we just clashed.
And got tangled up.
Started flying.
No, I understand that happens in competition. You put people in different jerseys, and you're on this team, and he's on that team.
Yeah, that's it.
Things can get away from you, you know?
I actually wish, you know how like in hockey, there's a problem, you can say, okay, drop the gloves and we sort it out.
Yes.
And in cycling, you can't do that.
You just keep biking.
Yeah, it's so annoying. Sometimes I wish I was just like, can me and you just stop
and fight and then move on? Yeah.
And then we can get on our bikes and carry on.
You're right. That would be better. Yeah. And like, it's like in hockey, when that happens, if you got an issue with a guy, usually after you throw down whatever the issue was, then you move on from, right?
Yeah. Whereas with us, it just
festers
off for a whole 12 months and you can't do anything about it.
And you keep seeing the same guys over and over at every race, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And if he's a prick once, he's probably a prick the next time too, right?
Yeah, and he's saying the same about me, and I'm saying the same about him. And you look at the start sheet, and it's like, fuck, he's here again.
Yeah,
he's saying the same. But it's nothing like
the domestiques must really just muck it up, eh?
Yeah, we should bring in.
You guys aren't like the fancy boys getting blocked by everybody, eh?
No, we're the ones who aren't good enough to be the winners, and then just have to top the shit.
I knew you were a shed guy. It's like the guys that don't make the NHL, right? But you're in the NHL just as a role player, different, you know?
Yeah, just not a superstar.
So what now that I follow you on Instagram, right? And folks, if you don't follow the shed on Instagram, that is where all the stuff is happening. I don't have time for anything else. You went to an academy. Is that the Mandy Flyers?
So the academy, no, the Mandy Flyers was like a youth team. So the academy.
What's the academy? What's that?
The academy it's kind of like where you go for the amateur ranks. So I was on the academy when I was 18, 19, 20. And
is that when you first move away from home then?
Yeah. And they were the funniest years of my life. We had, so you move away from home, you move into the apartments. There was 8 of us, all the same age. We moved up to Manchester. In the winter, we were in Manchester, and in the summer, we were in Italy. And we had a laugh. 8 guys, you just flee the nest. You're in the middle of Manchester.
Kind of like going to a Western Michigan University to play hockey with a bunch of dandies.
Same thing. It was, we're in Fallowfield, which was a student town. And it was funny. We had some laughs. So that was, and then after that, I don't know how I managed it looking back at what I did then 3 years, but after that I turned pro. So that was my 3 years amateur. Okay.
And you never know what you're going to get, right? I'd never met you. I didn't know if you were like straight laced and like you're just drinking your protein shakes and not having any fun, but sound right up my alley.
I think for me, it's a fine balance. Like,
you got to live and have fun and smile, right? You probably race better. Yeah. Are you like a hockey player? Do you race better when you're in a good mood and happy?
Oh, all for it. I think happy head, good legs every day of the week. I think if you're in a good place, and I've seen.
You should see me skate around now. I'm fatter, like I'm fat, but like I'm happy because I come out to my shed. I get on the ice. I can do shit I couldn't do when I was playing. It's weird.
Bring on the comeback.
No, wow, we are coming back when we raffle off a bunch of jerseys and make enough money.
But I'm sure you're the same in your career. You've seen guys go both ways. I've seen guys who are so fixed on every detail, cross the T's, dot the I's, bed by this time, won't touch a pizza, a beer. And then you see guys the other side who drink to excess, don't put the hard work in. And I try and sit somewhere in the middle and have a good life and try and be successful at the same time. And for me, it's a balance.
I agree. I wasn't drinking that much when I played, right? Like I would usually floor it out. If you play Friday, Sunday, then Sundays I'd usually floor it, right? But other than that, I wouldn't really have beers or drink really. But you gotta live, right? You gotta let your hair down when the opportunity arises. Because pro sports it is stressful shit sometimes, right?
Well, I think it's nice to, when the time comes when you retire, it's nice to look back and go, okay, I was good. I was okay at what I did. I made a career out of it, but I had a fucking good time. And I think hopefully we're going to be able to do.
And it sounds like you will be able to. That's kind of what I do. Yeah, I had a great time. And I get to come out and talk about it. Okay, so the academy then, you guys are just cyclers then? You're done school at 18 then? No more school?
Yeah, no school. Actually, I didn't do great in school. I kind of copped out.
So how many of those 8 guys that went to the academy actually turned pro and made it? Because they obviously went there trying to make it, right? That's what you're doing with your life if you go there.
From the 8. So this is like these 8, this academy, it's like the GB team. So the best 8 in Britain go on this squad. So already to be on that squad, it was pretty big deal. And then from the 8, currently, I said the world tour, the top level, and then the level below.
Yeah.
So we got myself in the world tour, and then there's one other guy, but he's in the level below. So
Geraint Thomas.
He was on the academy, but he's a couple of years older than me. So he's my podcast man. Me and him do a podcast.
Oh, really?
So me and him, what's occurring?
Holy cow.
Come on, man, check it out.
I didn't know. Sorry, I'll check it out.
Blame the IT team.
Research team didn't even find that. That's pretty brutal.
Me and him grew up like, it's quite strange. Me and him grew up 3K away from each other.
And he was one of the 3 Welshmen that have been in the Tour de France.
Yep. Yeah, he was the second ever Welshman to ride it. I was the 3rd ever Welshman, and he's won the Tour de France.
What?
Yeah,
he won it.
He won it in 2019. Yeah. So actually, you say about partying, do we celebrate? So that was like halfway through the year, the Tour de France, and I think for like, I was there at the tour with him. He won it, and for I'd say like a month after, we were like a write-off. We were like the Bash Brothers. It was so much fun. And
were you were on his team? Were you his domestique?
Yeah. I was his domestique, yeah.
So you basically won the Tour de France too, because you're a team and you were on the team that won it.
No? I wish it worked like that, but no, just a piece of the puzzle. But right. No, I mean, it's something I could never do. I can own, like, the pinnacle for me. That probably is the pinnacle, to be on the tour. Of course it
is, just because you're not the guy that won. You're his teammate that helped him.
Yeah, that's like as good as I can achieve, just to be a part of that. It's by no means to win the Tour de France, but it's just to be a part of the team that did win. It's probably as good as I can do it, yeah. Well,
what else did you go to the Tour de France to do other than help your team win? Like, you did what you went there to do.
Yeah. So
that sounds like a lot of fun. So what went on during this month? Did you do much traveling, or what'd you do?
Well, we just went back home, and but it was, so we go out and go for dinner, go for drinks, and it would escalate until the whole night. And then the next day we'd wake up.
You'd just be so happy, wouldn't you? And you'd wake up and you wouldn't be able to be hungover, because you'd be like, geez, we just won the Tour de France.
We were on cloud 9. It'd get to like 4 or 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and it'd be like a text. Hey, G, what you up to?
Yeah.
Not much. Do you fancy a beer? Yeah, right, buddy. And it just carried on. It was, but this was something, we grew up a few K from each other. I've known him for 20 years, and he went on to do that. And the rest of the season was a write-off. Like the rest of the races, we were terrible,
right?
But we kind of got away with it because
the success we did.
That was a good one.
Oh God, that sounds really fun. Winning stuff's really fun.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So anyways, you're at the academy, you move on, right? And he's there with you. But anyways, so you race amateur for a few years, right? And you won the whatever it's called, Team Pursuit Squad 2007 Euro track.
Yeah, that was a couple of years before that as junior, but basically like them 3 years on the academy amateur, it's like
so that's when you're at the academy, is when you're the amateur, and then 2012 is when you turn pro.
Yeah, so that would have been like 11, 10, 9, and you're racing guys, and all everyone wants to do, like, you're getting paid absolute peanuts, like barely enough to live on. You're scraping by, you know. And all everyone wants to do, everyone you race, they want to turn pro. That's all they want to do is just get that contract. So it's it's a jungle, you know, and it's like, you know, I said now it's organized. You have your domestiques, your helpers, because you're paid to be a domestique, because you're paid to be a helper. But then it's like every man for yourself. Everyone's just trying to get success. Everyone's trying to just get that.
And that's just like what it's like in hockey, right? It's like you get to the yeah, everybody's competing and everybody wants it, and
every race is like no control, balls to the wall, everyone trying to prove themselves, get spotted. So yeah, them years are pretty cutthroat, and you know, at the end of them 3 years, so you get like 4 years as an under 23, and if you haven't turned pro after them 4 years, you're pretty much done. So you got like them.
They call that you're pretty well tits on toast.
Yeah, that's it. Tits on toast if it doesn't happen. So it's like make.
Okay, so then you did sign your first deal. I don't know how much cyclists make. Doesn't matter. But do domestiques then make less than the other guy?
Oh yeah. Small fish in a big pond. I think. I mean, there's pretty good money in cycling compared to some sports, but then it's shit compared to other sports. It's probably somewhere in the middle. Obviously, the top guys, they're making millions, but I'm quite far down the pecking order.
I hear you. That's where I was.
You got to be realistic.
You need a knee injury to get a shed. Anyways, okay. So what's the hardest race you've ever done? What's the hardest stage or whatever, that like highest hill you've climbed, mountain? There's like, I can't even imagine some of those mountains in Europe that you got to ride a bike up. Ugh.
Yeah. I think for me, it's an easy answer. It was Tour de France 2016. Went into it, first stage, no problem. Second stage, there was a big crash. I got caught right up in the middle of it, went down pretty heavy. And I got back on and finished the stage, and then I had some scans, and I broke 3 ribs on the second stage.
And you finished the race with broken ribs?
Yeah, so it's 21 days, and this happened on day 2, and it was just, I don't know if you've ever broken your ribs, but it's like
I've seen like, guys that have, and you just aren't
limited.
Having any fun.
You're just limited with your breathing. You know, to take a big deep breath, you can't. So it's like having a rev limiter on,
or like sneeze or fart. Yeah, it would hurt.
It makes you laugh.
Mm-hmm.
So this 3 weeks was just, I went to hell and back. Just and actually this year I finished.
So you kept cycling then with the broken ribs?
Yeah, I finished the race, and that's what.
You're fucked.
That's what. Yeah, it was.
Good for you. That's the type. That's what I love. You're a shed guy. I'd never met you. You're a shed guy. If you do that and you push yourself like that, you're a winner, dude. I love. That's awesome. So, is the Tour de France not the same race every time, or is it different every time?
It's different. It varies. So essentially, like every village and every city you go through pays to have the race come through their village or the city. So it's kind of like,
and people just get after it, right? The fans are just getting totaled, aren't they?
Yeah, I mean, it's a 3-week party.
Sounds fun.
On the mountain stages where you go up, you know, the big hairpin bends, people go up, they camp the night before, they get on the beers, they have a party. Next morning, wake up, have a hangover, and watch a race go by, and it's just ingrained in the culture there. It's
and you guys like will just how many people are in that race? Like hundreds?
Riders, 200.
So like 200 dudes will go by, and they go by really fast, and they're like, "Okay, we did it. That was fun." Right?
Do you know what?
You guys go by them pretty quick. They wouldn't be able to see much, right?
If it's a flat stage, from the front of the peloton to the back of the peloton can be 20 seconds. So they can stand there.
And they camp out and they do everything to watch you guys go by for 20 seconds.
Yeah. But then there's like a fleet of cars that go in front and like throw stuff out, and then they make a bit of a song and dance. And then there's the convoy behind the race. So, but still, I mean, in terms of, that's why a lot of them go on the mountains, because you go in, you're creeping up the mountains, and the race is normally split up, so you get a lot more viewing time for your money, kind of.
Right. No, it's all very interesting. I don't know anything about it. Like I said, sorry. So, what else do I got here then? So what's the worst crash you've been in cycling? Is it the broken ribs?
Worst crash.
What's the most dangerous race you've been in? Like with all the hills, obviously going up is going to suck big balls, but going down when you're in a race and like hitting the brakes is kind of not recommended in a race. There's got to be some times where you guys are flying.
Yeah, it's intense. And back to the whole crash thing. I think I've been lucky, touch wood. I've broken bones for sure, plenty of bones, but nothing serious. But I got some of the crashes I've seen is just horrific. And it's, like motor racing, the course is made for a race car. For us, we just race on the roads and they just shut the roads and there's traffic furniture, there's fucking lampposts, and you see some of the crashes. I've seen people die, and it's, from that aspect of it, it's pretty scary because you're wearing a polystyrene helmet and lycra. Like this,
that's it.
And that's it. And if you go down, like the worst is actually when you really absolutely skin yourself. If you break a bone,
like if you slide down the road and like it's taking your road rash.
If you break a bone, you kind of go home. The race is over normally, But if you skin yourself,
that's when you're injured. When you're just hurt, you keep going.
When you skin yourself and you lose all your skin, it's like you carry on, mate. It's not over. You carry on. You don't pull out for that. And then you just, one side of you is just red and you sleep like shit. And I've had a few of them. They're never. And when you're sliding as well, you crash. You're sliding along the floor, and what's going through your mind is, I hope nobody else hits me. I hope nobody else hits me, because they're coming from behind.
And they're coming fast. You'd have to be alert the whole time. And you're saying you got 7 hours tomorrow of staying alert?
Yeah, it's intense.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah. So what country do the fans like? Are they the most passionate and they get the most after it? Is it the Tour de France? Because you've been everywhere.
Belgium, 100%. They
got interesting beers in that country too, eh? You ever have the ones in like the wine glass that are like 15% alcohol? They can get you right twisted up.
Duvel.
Oh, there's
Duvel. And there's another one, Delirium, because it makes you a bit crazy. But
first time ever tried those. Whew, really caught me off guard.
I quite like them. They're like brown beers, aren't they? They're,
and then you drink them out of like a wine glass, and they're serious. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, they get into it. Sorry, got sidetracked.
Yeah, this just I'd say they're the most passionate fans, and you can, you go, and a lot of the races in Belgium are the races that are run over cobblestones. So roads that were cobbled way back when, and they haven't touched them, and they're also the most dangerous. And the crowds just, they love it. Like I said,
do they get close? Is there ever fans that get too close? And
it's annoying. It's annoying. But in Belgium, they're pretty respectful because they appreciate what you're doing. Like if there's a big race on, it's like a national holiday there. Like all the big cities arrange like free transport onto the course, free transport back, and they just set up beer tents, and you're going up the climbs, and it's like this Belgium.
Is it not? And it's way more fun to do stuff when the people are really, really into it, right? It's like playing hockey in the Big Blue Tent or in Cardiff. Like when the fans love it, they love what they're watching. They're so into it. It's like going to the finals in Ontario of junior hockey or senior hockey. Like when you get to the finals and then the arena's packed and there's people lined up outside the arena and you're like, wow, we're really doing it now, eh?
Yeah. 100. Do you know what? I missed the Big Blue Tent. That place was like,
I know.
Okay, the new rink is amazing. It's
all
a
right.
lot of glitz and glam.
Yeah.
But the Big Blue Tent just had something special. Like, everyone was stomping their feet, banging the boards. If it was a Saturday game, everyone would be on the beers. I remember that run they went on where they won, I don't know how many games, 20 something games. They had the Guinness World Record a while.
Yeah.
I went to a few of them towards the end, and it was just mental.
Electric. Yeah. Well, and that arena, I obviously everybody knows me. I'm not into the glitz and glam either, right? But I love that arena. And like my favorite part was the family atmosphere of it. Was like when you show up at that arena and it's packed and they're loud and they're stomping their feet, but like you look around the arena, I knew almost every person there, right? I'm like, I know you. You come to the bar after and have a beer with me. And like, it was a family feel. The fans, the players, the coaches, like everybody was in it together in that barn.
That's what's good about the Devils.
It is a family, eh? Like, look how they support me. I have a hockey team of people in the UK wearing these jerseys. It is mental.
Yeah, it's great though, isn't it? It's not, I think a lot of sports people can easily like put themselves on a pedestal and think they're above they are, and it's something like I've never tried to do, and something I never found with the Devils is it's just a normal bunch of guys, and they just treat every fan like, give them a bit of time. No, it's nice.
Right. Yeah. No, and that I wouldn't think of. Yeah, I totally agree. Yeah. I think Todd runs a good ship of bringing in the right people too in Cardiff. And it's just the Welsh people are just so nice. Like I remember when Zoe was born over there, like the next game, like obviously Lisa, Zoe, Colby aren't there because she just had Zoe, but like I'm coming off the ice at the Big Blue Tent and like fans literally were dropping presents for like Zoe being born. Like I got a Welsh spoon that was engraved, made personally just for her. And it's like, where else in the world are people doing this?
Yeah. Oh, that's nice. It's heartwarming.
It really is. Okay. What else do I got? So some of your favorite races though, do you get to choose where you go, or is that straight up to your team?
It's kind of like, 50-50.
Because you like going to Australia, down under, mate.
Oh yeah. That's a great trip.
They got a good drinking culture in Australia, I hear too.
Yeah, and we spend the time in Adelaide, so it's a pretty loose city. It's good fun, but I think at the start of my career, it's like they just tell you what you're doing. You're doing this. Yeah, okay, no problem. Pack my suitcase, and then as the years go by, you can have like a bit more of an influence. But at the end of the day, where they send me, I'm happy to go. I think it's. Some guys will say, "No, I don't want to do that race." I don't.
So how? But like how? I guess. That'd be up to the coach, but how do they decide who goes when and where? Is it based on the hills? Is it based on how flat it is? Is it who the lead guy is to help that you get along with them, or is it all that?
It's a mix of it all. So I think the first thing would be is how's the course? How's the parkour? Then
how's the what? The parkour?
Parkour.
Isn't that like isn't that where you run around and jump off like stuff and flip around?
Oh, that's parkour.
Yeah.
You jump off shit. No, we don't do that.
Okay.
So like, how's the race? How's the terrain? And then you say, right, which is our leader for the race? And you kind of just build it back down from a pyramid.
Right. So what's your talent? Is it hills? Is it flats? What do they, why are you always going to Australia? The research team found you go there almost every year.
Because it's nicer weather over in Australia than it is in the UK in January. That's the first one. But the race in Australia is kind of like the back end, like mid-January. And I go out, I've been out a few times, take the family out, go out end of December. So you have 2-3 weeks before the race.
So does your family get to come with you to places? How old are your kids?
No. My kids are 3.5 and 1. So, but they don't get to do much at all.
No, they're pretty young to be.
They're pretty young, but also, like
you don't want to be this. You're working.
They can come, like with hockey, they could come to the rink, watch a game, and see everything. With them, it's like you stand on the side of the road with a 1-year-old, and 20 guys go, "No, sorry."
Then that's it. Yeah.
What's the point in that? So it's a bit different, but they don't come to many races at all. No.
Okay, this just came up to me now because I'm thinking about you guys biking by. When you're doing the Tour de France, then everybody, so you obviously start in one place and then you're biking wherever. So is it every night you're staying in a different hotel? Do you have to finish the race and then go get to your hotel?
Yeah. So a lot of the time, but it's not like you don't always start in the village or town that you finish the previous stage in. So it's a lot of time on the bus. So you can wake up.
Really?
Yeah. You can like wake up and have up to like 2 hours.
And then get on the bike, drive there, get on the bike, and then go to the next place. And then
ride 200K, get to the finish, and you can have another.
I thought it was one constant race. So like you would stop for the day and then you'd start in the same spot and go again.
Well, that would make sense, right? But
right,
like I said, it depends which villages have like paid, and it all comes down to financials. And we've got to go here because that's where the money is. And I think, we can spend like we can leave the hotel at 8 o'clock in the morning and be back 8-9 o'clock at night. And during that time, you've raced your bike for 5 hours, and the rest of the time, like meeting before the race, sign on, do the race, warm down after, 2 hours on the bus. So it's a lot of time on the bus.
But it's good thing your gooch is leather.
Yeah, right. But the bus is actually a fun part. Get the music cranked and it's good.
Well, yeah, the bus is always the best. Okay, here's a random one for you then, because you keep going to Australia. Both guys have played hockey there, have ate kangaroo. Have you?
I have.
You've ate kangaroo too, you sick fuck, eh?
Tried it?
I haven't. No, I can't even. I don't know. I've never even seen one in real life, really, unless I went to a zoo. But like, I don't know. They don't
know until you tried it, man.
Really, you liked it, eh?
Yeah, it's good. I had would it have been alligator or crocodile?
I think you can eat either, but probably alligator, right?
Alligator. Okay, I ate that as well. Yeah, you got to try these things, no?
Well, you got to try everything. Well, it's like if someone offered me a piece of kangaroo, I would try it. There's no doubt. But like when I see them jumping around, they seem like such nice little guys. But I guess they're not that nice in the real world, right? They're like overpopulated and they eat
fight.
them.
Yeah, but if you see a lamb walking through a field, you go, it's a cute lamb, but
I'd still eat a lamb, yeah. Oh yeah, I sure would. Put that right in a kebab.
A hot sauce, lovely.
Oh, a little tzatziki, a little sriracha. Okay. Anyways, sorry, I just got sidetracked. What about Oman and Qatar and like United Arab Emirates? It's different culture when you go over there, eh?
That is very, very different culture. Yeah.
You guys don't. Isn't there like some places where you're not even allowed to like drink at all?
Yeah. Well, over there, the only places you're allowed to drink is hotels. Mostly just hotels. So if you
I don't think I'd fit in.
Yeah, it's a strange place. You can't go to most supermarkets and just buy alcohol. You can't do it. Actually, I was in UAE 2 weeks ago. So
are you the guy traveling all over the world listening to my podcast that makes me feel like everybody's listening all over the world, but it's actually just you? Because I have United Arab Emirates.
I've listened to quite a few of them.
Have you listened to some? That's great, because when I see all these countries pop up, maybe it's just you.
Was it UAE like 2 weeks ago?
I think I was already there, but I don't know. But yeah, it's weird, right? I see where people are listening. I'm like, makes sense though, now that there's people like you traveling around the world listening. So thanks for tuning in, and I want to check yours out. What did you say it was called again?
It's called What's Occurring.
And that's a cycling one with you and Geraint.
Yeah, but it's pretty relaxed. It's like what we're doing now. We get different people on. Sometimes we do it just me and him. It's pretty chilled. We never cut or edit anything. We just kind of roll with it.
I understand that no cutting it or anything. I don't even know what you do. I don't even know how you do it. I don't bother. I don't have time for that shit.
Keep it rough and send it out and hope for the best.
So you've been on the same team the whole time. So that it says Ineos, but I thought you were Team Sky.
So from 2012 to 2018, 19, I can't quite remember. It was Team Sky. And then we got taken over by a new sponsor, which is And now,
So you still have the same boss, same GM. It's like
it's the same.
calling
Everything.
it a different team. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same everything, just a different sponsor. And now it's Team Ineos Grenadiers, which Ineos and Grenadiers is two different companies, but it's owned by the same guy. So everything's the same. It's just money's coming from a different guy's pocket.
I gotcha. So do cycling fans have to pay a ticket to stand by the road, or like, how does that work?
No, that's where the
So it's only sponsorship money then. There's no fan money.
Exactly. And that's where the sport struggles in a lot of sense, is that there's no income from
anything but sponsors.
From anywhere. So it's sponsors, and you get a bit through the TV rights, because you're riding all day and there's cameras, so you get a bit of money through that. But there's no promotion, relegation money. So it's pretty much all sponsors, and it's got to come from someone who's
somebody's got the pockets
about cycling. And I mean, it's proven that there's, in terms of money, for every euro you put into a sports team, it's proven that cycling is actually good bang for your buck. It's on a lot of TV channels. It's got a lot of airtime. Like, you look at the Tour de France, it's 21 days. Every stage is live, start to finish, across lots of channels, versus what you pay for a Premiership football team. You'd get a logo this big. So it's proven to be a good return, but just someone purely to back a.
Well, you know what? I have no idea how many people will listen to this episode, but I'm going to give a shout out to Keep Calm Couriers, because they're part of the Shed family, and they pick up a package to be sent wherever in Europe or the UK within 60 minutes. And he's a Devils fan. So anyways, I'm going to give them a shout out, because they're doing that all over the place. They're running a hell of a business. And it sounds like in the bicycling world, or the cycling world, you guys have a lot of shit to move around, and folks, just look up Keep Calm Couriers, because they could probably help get your bicycles, waters, whatever you need to get to the next stage. Keep Calm Couriers, folks. Right?
You nailed it.
Plugged.
Ad read.
All right. No, they didn't even ask me to do that. That one's on the house, fellas. But seriously, I am open to having sponsors in the Shed. If people do want to, and want to pay me money to drink beers with my friends, you can, right? If you want to. It's up to you guys. Okay. What's it like cycling in Norway? That's got to be hilly.
Beautiful. That is, I'd say.
They're not even called hills. They're called like fjords, right?
No. Fjords are islands.
Oh, really? I thought those were big hills.
Yeah, the IT team made another mistake there.
That's not the IT team. That's just me not being smart.
Well, hang on. I think I'm getting this right. One of us is wrong.
I think you're wrong. I think a fjord's a big mountain, right?
I think a fjord is islands. Because we're
gonna hit the internet later.
Loads of different islands. I feel a bet coming on here. I think I'm right.
It'd be easy to solve, but I'm not getting out of the pocket. I'm not checking out the internet right now. We'll figure that out later. But Norway's hilly, right?
Norway's hilly, but
it's fjordy.
Yeah, it's got a lot of islands. We're
gonna have to agree to disagree.
Yeah, 50-50. I could be wrong. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
No, Norway's beautiful. And it's quite a lot like I don't know what it's like, but it's just clean, nice people, beautiful, picturesque, cold, very cold. But
I never made it there, but it looks very nice, and the people seem
very
nice.
expensive.
When I played against Norwegian team, they seem nice.
Norway's expensive.
Right, I've heard that.
Big bucks.
So is Switzerland too, though.
Yeah. Yes. You said about UAE, that's expensive as well.
Is it?
Yeah.
I don't know anything about over there.
You
must bike in a lot of different I don't know what the word is. But like weather, like climate. Thank you. See, you do know stuff. You just don't know what a fjord is. Anyways, like you're going to the UAE, but then you're also going to Switzerland, and then you're going to Norway, but then you're going to Australia, and it's like what's the hardest one you got to do? Did we already talk about that?
I struggle more I struggle more in the super hot than the super cold. Like I've raced, the hottest race I've done was World Championships in Qatar, and it was 48 degrees. It
Oh
was
God,
it
really?
was terrible.
And how far
And
do you have to bike in that heat? Good God.
yeah, 250k, something like that.
Jesus, I wouldn't even
And then
want
in
to
the
fart in
coldest
that
I've
heat.
raced, yeah, the coldest I've raced in is minus whatever, like 2, 3, 4, 5. And
Are you wearing
I
the same shit no matter what?
a couple more layers, stick the long johns on, but yeah, we got pretty good stuff for both temperatures. Like the range of kit we got is pretty diverse. It gets pretty kinky when you get 48 degrees and you try and wear like super thin stuff. It's not pretty on the eye, but
imagine exercising in 48. Oh
yeah, it was terrible. Well, there was guys passing out. There was crashes because guys were passing out on the bike.
right, because like I get lightheaded trying to put my socks on. I sure couldn't do that. There is no way. Yeah, that's why, like, I guess when it comes down to where they want to send you, it's like, do you want to go to the UAE and bike in 48, or do you want to like ride down from Milan, the coast of Italy tomorrow, right?
Yeah, right. So it's a long one, but it's at least it's a decent temperature. But then the worst is when it's the added danger element is obviously when it starts raining. That's when it can get quite shit. Just
especially if it's -2 or -3, like, so you got to be doing it in snow yet too then sometimes.
No, if it's snow they cancel, but it's
not rain.
No, not rain. No, it has to be like very extreme for them to cancel it. And if it's snowing but not like really settling, I've raced in the snow, but as long as it's not properly settling on the floor, the show goes on. They don't like to cancel the race.
Trying to think. Okay. So the longest, how as far have you biked in one day? I know tomorrow's 300K and that's the longest race, but if I know sports, you usually practice as hard as you play. So I bet you biked over 300K on a practice day. Am I right?
Yeah, on very few occasions. I think the longest, so that'll be about, to be honest, normally we do training in hours as opposed to distance. So tomorrow will be 7 hours, and the most I've ever done is 12 hours.
12 hours biking straight.
Yeah.
Your legs keep moving for 12 hours.
Yeah, and that gooch keeps chafing for 12 hours.
Oh, geez. Mine hurts just talking about it. Like, oh, that seat would sit right up in there, and man, there's no way around it.
No.
It would have to get leathered. It would have. I feel like I was on the verge of being leathered, and I gave it up totally. As soon as I moved home and they didn't make me do 90 minutes a day in the bike, I was like, I am not getting on a bike for a while. Okay. I was in gooch rehab.
I'm gonna let you into a secret here. What you did 90 minutes on a static bike. That's worse.
It was terrible.
There's no on the road bike or a mountain bike moving. There's movement though, isn't there? You're just stuck still. You can't move. You can't really shuffle your body. Everything's fixed. At least if you're out on the road,
you're moving around. Yeah.
Wheel, up a climb, get out of the saddle.
There was only room in the sauna for one stationary bike, and they took out like the bench, so nobody could have a sauna after practice or anything. It was just the bicycle in there, and it stayed there the whole season. And that was just for me. That was mine. It was awful.
You did the bike in the sauna?
90 minutes a day.
Oh, they're fuckers, eh?
I was one fucker. The same one that made me come back early from my knee injury. I partially torn my PCL. And then he said in front of the whole team, we'll have Wally back tonight unless he's a pussy. And I don't like being called that. So I was like, hey, I'll play anytime. I'll play through any injury. But I really shouldn't have. And then when the knee really went, and then I got fat because I was depressed, he put me in the sauna on the bike 90 minutes a day. Said, if you want to play here next year, you're going to do everything I ask for the rest of the season. And that turned into 90 minutes of biking in the sauna a day. I didn't even have an iPhone in there. All I had was an iPod. and I could play solitaire on it. That was it. Fuck.
I thought you were biking and doing the sauna, not
No.
biking in the sauna.
Biking in the sauna. And then I'd like some days when they're out for practice, I'd try and sneak out like after like 60 minutes. Physio guy would send me right back in.
Oh, he snitched.
Oh yeah, he's punk. Thought he was on my team. Shelby wasn't. But yeah, I did lose a lot of weight. And they signed me for the next season. So I guess it's like in pro sports, sometimes you just got to do what they say, right?
Yeah, sometimes you got to suck it up, don't you? If it was easy, everyone would do it, right?
That's right. Mm-hmm. So how many times have you been in the Tour de France? Research team had conflicting reports. Seven. Yes.
7.
Thank you.
7.
The UK team should really update their website because they said 3 or something.
No, that's wrong. Yeah, 7.
I agree.
I finished 5, didn't finish 1, and got disqualified in 1. So I finished 5.
So what do you mean you didn't finish? What happened?
So on each day, there's a time cut. You have to be in a percentage of the winner's time to start the next day. You can't take as long as you want, And it was last year.
So to complete the Tour de France, you have to do every stage, because is there not guys that just do some stages?
No. Each rider has to do every stage. And
is that in every tour or?
Yeah. And depending on how hard the day is, depends on what percentage it is. So if it's a flat day, it will be like you have to be within like 8% of the winner's time. If it's a mountain day, you might get like 15%. So the day I went out last year was a real tough mountain stage. Suffered like a dog. It was super hot, and I missed the time cut by like 2 minutes. And, so when you're obviously like shielding the guy and making it all easier for the prima donna, right? But but like at what point in the race then, because he has the best time of anybody because your guys are helping him, at what point do you guys like, okay buddy, now it's your turn, you go get a better time than us? It's pretty much, well,
do the coaches talk to you the whole time? Are they like, do this, do that?
Yeah, pretty much. But to answer the question, how long do you do it for? And this is kind of why I went out the time limit last year, is you do it until you can't do it anymore.
Right.
And until
because it's harder for you guys, because you guys are the ones blocking the wind and fighting through it.
Exactly. But then once you're done with that job, it could be 100K to the finish. So like I give everything for him, and then I pulled off, and then I'm cooked.
You're done. You're cooked.
Then you gotta get to the finish line within the percentage.
To keep going, to keep helping them the next day.
Exactly. But I think, some guys will maybe pull off a bit earlier to make sure you've got a bit left in the tank, which is what I should have done.
So then you got to learn how to do it. Okay. Lot to it then, eh?
Sorry?
There's a lot to it.
Yeah. I think the more you get into it, there's a lot of tactics, and like any sport, the more you dig into it, the more it's like a big
more layers, you could say.
That's it. Layers.
Who's the best cycler nowadays? Who's the Sidney Crosby of bicycling now?
You think Sid's still the best?
Well, I know he's still Sid though. Like he's just older now.
Yeah, he's a weapon.
But I think that there's a lot of different hockey players in the world, and people say this guy's the best and that guy's the best. Do you not have to win to be the best? Do you not have to be a winner? Do you not have to help a team win to be the best?
Yeah.
Sidney Crosby's won everything. So
I'm not going to argue with you on hockey talk, because I'm just going to end up embarrassing myself.
I find it interesting that like some teams can get put out of the playoffs first round every year, or not even make the playoffs. And they're like, well, that's the best player ever made. And I'm like, what do you mean? How?
But despite like Edmonton not doing very well, would you not still say that Connor McDavid's the best player in the world?
If I was picking a team, I might take Leon Draisaitl over him.
Yeah, fair one. Yeah.
So if anybody wants to keep arguing, that's fine. I don't care. Connor McDavid's really good.
German,
but like who had, I'm pretty sure that Leon plays more. He penalty kills. Like, is it not about who's most valuable to your team and winning the game, not how fancy you can play?
Yeah. I'm just learning here. I'm just asking the question.
Oh, and everybody has a different opinion. And I'm sure I'm just going to get everybody will be telling me I'm so wrong. If you're taking anybody in their prime, I would take Crosby because he's a winner.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, it's how many Stanley Cups? 2.
Right. Olympic gold.
Yeah.
I think he won the World Juniors probably, you know?
Yeah.
He's pretty good. I don't know. Everybody's got a different opinion. I don't know. I don't think it's always about how fast you can skate and how many goals you can score. I think it's about winning the game and helping your team win the game.
Full package.
Mm-hmm. Kind of like a domestique. I've learned so much today.
You learned what a fjord is?
No, I didn't. I already knew. You didn't.
Can I?
You're getting upset. I know. I don't want to get you upset. I'm sorry. Let's move on. Let's not talk about fjords anymore. Are you looking it up? Stop it. Don't do it.
No, we can keep talking, but
I find very interesting. Okay. Here's another note I have down is how many athletes come out of Wales. The rugby team has big dudes that can all run, hit, like they're athletes. They are high-end athletes. Then they got you, Geraint, and you got that Gareth Bale. He's also from Cardiff too, right?
Do you know what a crazy little snippet here then? So Gareth Bale, Sam Warburton, who was
rugby guy, right?
Yeah, rugby guy, captain of the Lions, and Geraint, who are potentially like the 3 Welsh best sports people, all went to the same school.
Really?
Yeah, that's a small world, eh? Whitchurch High.
That is a small world. And like, I just find it interesting that like the people in Cardiff I found were the nicest people going. I really hit it off with everybody there. And then like, I don't know, I cheer for Welsh people in sports, right?
Good man. Also, do you want some bad news?
No.
Found out what a fjord is.
Don't say it.
A fjord is a long, deep, narrow body of water that reaches far inland.
Sounds like a mountain.
What do we put on that? A 10?
I don't know. I don't even. That doesn't sound right.
I hate it when the internet's wrong.
So you're gone 200 days a year. When do you go home next?
Straight after this race, but only for 2 days.
And it'll be family time, see the kids, and
yeah, it's just back and forth. And then more towards the middle of the season is where I'll be away for like 2-3 weeks, back for 4 or 5 days, go for 2-3 weeks, and it's pretty tough. More so with all due respect to my wife, but like with the kids. Now my eldest is getting to the age where when he sees my suitcase being packed, he knows what it means, and he's like, no, and he's trying to jump inside my suitcase, and it's gut wrenching, you know.
Oh, for sure it would be, but like that's your profession and that's what you do, and it's like it's always been that way. But yeah, it would be tough. There's a lot of jobs in the world. People have to be away from their families, right?
Thing is, the way I kind of justify it is I'm away 200 days a year, so I'm home 165, and for them 165 I can be with the kids. Like I'm back from training,
you're
say,
right
2-3
you're
o'clock.
right
I can
in
be
it,
with them
yeah.
the whole day. Yeah, as opposed to most people 9 to 5,
they get home, they get their kids in the bath, and then they're in bed, and that's it. That's all you saw them. And it's like, well, isn't spending a full day like doing the full deal better? I agree.
But that's how I try and justify it, and it's not forever.
Right. No, it's not. Right. And they're gonna be proud of dad, you know, they're gonna grow up and be like, holy shit, the old man did all that. You know, because I think you were the what's it called here? Research team found it. I gotta find it here. The Lantern Rouge, the Red Lantern. Does that mean you were the last finisher of the Tour de France that actually got to finish, though? Like the rest of them that don't make the time never finish, right? But you did.
And this was the year I broke my ribs. This was that year.
Oh, so it makes sense. So you gutted it through and you finished the whole Tour de France with broken ribs.
Yeah. So,
Dude, you should be proud of that. That's just being a gamer. I love that shit. I do. That's what that gets my juices flowing, is when teammates will just do anything and be like, I can do this. I'm not that hurt, right?
yeah, crack on. And traditionally it was, like the Tour de France is old race. So what they used to do is the last rider in the Tour de France would put a red lantern on the back of his bike just to show he was the last guy. So when the red lantern passed, you knew like the Tour de France was over. So it just kept on being a thing. And the last guy in the Tour de France now gets presented with a red lantern, which I got at home.
Oh, that's awesome. I think it's cool. I got drafted last overall to the OHL, last pick.
Happy days.
Yeah, pretty exciting. They didn't have a red lantern for it, but I wasn't.
You know what else? So, and then from that red, like a week after the Tour de France, I moved into my new house in Cardiff, and I was like, right, I need a bar in this.
Where do you live in Cardiff? Where are you about?
Lisbane.
I don't know what that means.
North Cardiff, Thornhill, Lanishan.
I know where Cardiff. I know where Cardiff Met is. I know where Cardiff Bay is. And I know where downtown is.
Okay, the other end, up the top. Anyway, I got back from the Tour de France having just won the red Lantern Rouge.
By the way, I'm going to say this right now before you keep going, is I think it's really cool you came to my shed, that I had a guy from the Tour de France in my shed. Thank you.
No worries. Jump right in there.
Okay, keep going.
Well, I said, right, I'm going to make this bar. I said, right, what can I call it? So now this bar is called the Lantern Rouge, and it's like a full hockey bar. It's just full of hockey stuff. You'd love it.
That's cool.
It's like...
this is in your house?
Yeah, I mean, when I say bar, it's like a room, but I got some hockey jerseys up in there. I got hockey sticks, got hockey seats.
I'm totally sending you a 2Ale something for your bar.
Please do. It'll go up. I'll send you the picture.
Gosh, I can't wait. I'm so sending you something. What do you? Yeah, I'll send you anything, whatever you want. Okay.
Right. It'll go on the wall.
All you got to do is go to aleshockeytales.com, folks, and pick out what you want. Okay. And then I'll send it to you. Okay.
All right.
There's lots of clothes and stuff on there to buy, folks. So if you want to go to aleshockeytales.com, I'd really like you to buy raffle tickets though, folks, for Max and Maloney. You only got like a day left. And then there's also the Elmira Sure Kings jersey, which is where I played junior. And what we're doing there is we're raffling off that jersey to raise money for kids to get to play hockey, because it's really, really, really expensive nowadays. And some people can't afford it, but their kids would be passionate about hockey and want to play. So we're helping with that, folks. So buy tickets for the Sure Kings jersey too, even if you don't want it, right?
Once we finish this pod, that's what I'm going to do.
Hey, thanks, man. And anybody else that listens to it, please buy tickets at aleshockeytales.com. And but you get to pick out whatever you want, and I'll send it to you. Okay.
Deal.
Thanks for making the time for me before you bicycle 300 kilometers tomorrow in Italy. Okay. So what else do I got? So what is your season? Where's the off season? Because if you can go to Australia when it's winter and then bike when it's summer, when the hell do you take time off?
The season is, it's long. It starts January and it finishes mid-October. So you kind of have November off. Yeah, you have like the second half of October and the start of November off. So you have 1 month off, and then you're in like preseason camp in December. So it's pretty much 11 months on, 1 month off.
But you're never really off, right? You're always biking.
No, that 1 month. Actually, a lot of guys they keep going in that 1 month, but I like to just completely switch off.
Yeah, you do.
I put my bike in my garage.
Yeah,
I don't even want to see it.
I love it. I left my equipment in Germany one year and the team found out. They were thrilled.
But that 1 month, I just need to completely reset. Like,
but you got to be excited. It's like being for hockey. I was always a hot starter of the season, and then you wouldn't really see me in the second half until playoffs, because you got to be excited to play. I was always really excited at the start of the year, and I would play my best hockey, And then every game just wasn't that exciting by the second half. And like, you got to be excited. That's why you take the summer off, is to be excited again for the next year, right?
It's back to what we said about finding the balance, isn't it? You got to be like,
What works for you and what yeah.
I got to be hungry.
Yeah, you do have to be hungry. It's the only way in any competitive sport, right? Usually whoever's the hungriest will do her. Okay. I'm trying to think what else I got. So I already asked all those questions. What's the worst food you go to? What country has the worst food? Italy has the best. What's the worst?
For me, it was China. I didn't like Japan. Was amazing.
Sushi.
China was, for me, it was too much.
Like, did I miss Japan on the countries you've been to? Shoot.
I don't know. Japan, China.
Yeah. So what's but Chinese food's all right, like at least in Canada, but maybe it's like in Italy, there's no actual meatballs. What's Chinese food like in China?
Like, I'll happily order a Chinese takeaway back home, and it'll be like sweet and sour balls, egg fried rice, like
yeah,
mega.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great on a hangover.
Yeah,
but it was nothing like it when I went. It was
really,
yeah, some dodgy stuff. Like we had a chicken. We ordered some chicken, and they literally, it was like they had this cooked chicken, and they just got a knife and just cut it into slabs, but right through the bones, and it was just this like, oh, it was just terrible. I didn't like it.
It doesn't sound good.
No.
I don't think it was China, but there's the place. They get the egg, and like it's like almost half grown in there, right? And they'll suck it back.
Yeah, it's a bit too quirky for me. I mean, I'll happily eat my kangaroo, my alligator, but I wasn't down for that Chinese.
Okay, so then basically tomorrow you're gonna wake up and you're gonna crush pasta. Then are you gonna go back to bed after you've put yourself in a food coma?
No. We'll have to. We got a bit of a transfer in the morning. We're staying a bit out of town because it was better to do a ride here today. So it'll get up, eat some pasta. We'll probably have like not too far, 45 minutes on the bus. Have a meeting on the bus, get the tunes cranking, and then
it's go time.
Go time, yeah.
So what do you do for warm-ups in the bicycling world? Do you bike to warm up before 300 kilometers or?
No, because the race, no, in a shorter, more intense race, we'd use the static bike, not in a sauna, but just,
you guys have better bodies than me, so you don't have to get the sauna.
Yeah, we just ride like the static bike before a start, but for a race of that length, you can just kind of ease your way into it the first few K.
Okay. So who's the lead band tomorrow? Who are you blocking for?
I'm blocking for, we've got two guys. We got a Polish guy, Michał Kwiatkowski, who's
Michał Kwiatkowski?
Yep. He's Polish.
Michał Kwiatkowski. What's his nickname? Do you guys have nicknames in the cycling world?
Yeah, we call him Killer. Killer. Or I call him Kawasaki because he's fast like a motorbike.
There you go.
He's the guy who actually he's won the race before.
Oh.
And Noah went out after. This was after he won the race. So
it's interesting when you talk to people in the shed, because now I'm going to be into this race tomorrow. I'll probably check to see how everything went, right? So I got to figure out how Michał Kwiatkowski does, and who else? Who's the other guy?
Tom Pidcock.
What?
Tom.
You're making what?
No, Tom Pidcock.
Pidcock. And Michał Kwiatkowski.
Yeah, legit. Do you know what? If there's one race, you said you might watch this race tomorrow. If there's one race, I would say watch it. It's Paris-Roubaix. Paris to Roubaix. And this is all over cobbles. Or just stick it in YouTube. Watch 5 minutes of it. That's the one race to watch of the whole year. It's epic.
And why is that?
Because, so it's like 250K, but 50 kilometers of it is on cobblestones, on pave. and it is just absolute chaos. Crashes, punctures, full gas racing. That's like the most epic.
Really?
Yeah, it's mid-April.
Yeah, I definitely try and check that out. That sounds really cool to watch. I like a little bit of chaos, right? I like a little bit of bumping and grinding. I think it'd be cool on the cobblestone. See you guys, Yeah,
check that one out. That's my advice.
All right. Okay. I think I've asked most of my questions here because I was curious about the team dynamic, but so tomorrow there's two different guys. So is there one guy you're blocking for, or are they both together and you got kind of like the Canadian geese, you got the V around them to block them, right? The flying V. And then are those two beside each other and then they decide when they're going to go for it?
So it'll be, because it's 300K, it'll be, so-and-so will look after them for this period. And when he's done, someone takes over and you kind of shift it. And then what's really important is that them two, to go in with two leaders, these two have to have cohesion. So when they get to the final of the race, they don't contradict each other.
Right.
And that's where
things can get iffy, probably, because it's kind of probably like in hockey where guys want to take care of themselves and do well themselves, right? And then it's like, well, what was actually best for the team? That's
the only occasion where there could be a bit of a ding dong within the team, is because if you think of us five working for these two, we give everything for these two. And then if I get to the finish and I found out
that he's a wanker, you're like, why? Yeah. I just helped you this whole race and now you're being a wanker.
Yeah. Us five gave everything for you two and you two are fucking around. Right. So that's the only time but it doesn't really happen in our team. We're pretty organized. We've got good guys. If they're not good guys, they don't hang around,
and that's the same in hockey. It's the good guys hang around, right? And the guys that aren't, it doesn't take long to ask around, right?
Yeah, exactly. So we got a good bunch of guys, so it shouldn't be a problem,
but then there's the elite talents, right? It's the same in hockey. There's the elite talents that are just so good that they can still be a ding-a-ling,
Yeah, I mean, cream rises to the top, doesn't it? But I think it's okay if you're a bit of it's not okay, but you get away with it if you're a bit of a dick, but still winning. But the second you start to go down in your career,
you'll be
you're out.
Exactly.
So if someone's scoring 50 goals a year and they're a dick, they probably still have a nice.
Well, and I find one comparable in the hockey world, I would say, would be like a Chris Kunitz. He was the first liner, wins a bunch of stuff, but then come the end of his career, he's a good teammate, a good person. He can be on your fourth line with Chicago or whoever it was, and he wins another Stanley Cup or whoever he did. I don't even know, but he was a good teammate. And then you can play the fourth line, you can play the role player, but you can also be the star because you're just a good dude, right?
Yeah. Good dudes last the test of time, don't they? I think it's
well put. And that's why I wanted to have you on my shed. And I just love people from Cardiff, Wales, apparently. And it's been really, really nice getting to know you today, sir.
Thanks for having me.
I don't know if you can tell, but I actually really taken a shine to you over the last while here. I really enjoyed this chat. So thank you.
Likewise, I enjoyed watching you play on the ice, and it's been good to get to know the man.
This is the most fun I have. I still getting ready to do this with you. My heart still flutters before every one because I just love this shit. I love getting to know about people's journeys, especially stuff I don't know about, right? I don't know about cycling. Now I got a little bit of an idea.
And now I got to go online, buy a few tickets and see what merch I want.
AilesHockeyTales.com, folks. We got merch stuff to buy, but also raffle tickets for Max and Melody and the Sugar Thangs to raise money for Friends of Hockey. That is to help pay for kids to play hockey that can't afford it. And I think it's really cool that all that's happening from coming out to my shed and chatting, right?
Good on you.
So yeah, pick out whatever you want. And I want to see a picture of it in your bar in Cardiff. Okay.
Deal. Job's a good one.
And this has been another episode of Zero Ales and Hockey Tales with Rosie and Wally. Maybe
we'll go with that.